So you've been consistent with your meals. You're eating better. You've been training, you're active, you're drinking the water. You're doing all the right things. And there's a quiet voice in your head saying, shouldn't I be further along by now? Shouldn't I be further along by now? If this were working, shouldn't I be further along? Here's the truth, and when you get this, it will shift everything, right? The gap between effort and visible results is where most people quit, right? That gap. You're doing the you're doing the things, and they don't quit because the plan isn't working, but because they don't understand what's happening beneath the surface. So let's close that gap, because if you truly understand what I'm going to share with you today, if you truly understand what it means to trust the process, you'll stop questioning the process and start trusting the process. You'll stop focusing on timelines that you have no control over and start focusing on consistency of behavior, which is the only thing you have control over. So today, this episode is for you if you've been showing up, doing the work, not giving up, right? But wondering why the results aren't exploding yet. You're moving along, but shouldn't I be further along? And this is what we visited, we talked about a year ago around this time. Talked about getting out of the valley of despair. And the valley of despair is where expectation and reality don't line up, right? You have the expectation of where you think you should be versus the reality of where you are. And, right, this is the reality early in the year. And you're coming up against that reality where motivation is cooled, routine has settled. The scale isn't dramatic. Maybe you lost 8-10 pounds early on, and that got you excited. And you expected the same thing to keep moving forward. And even for those of you who are not into weight loss, not here for weight loss, you're creeping along because gut health is complicated and you're not experiencing the movement you thought. Your other health issues, like gentlemen who are working on building healthier testosterone and other issues, they're not clearing up as fast as you thought as they would, right? So you're questioning the process. And that's exactly where transformation either stabilizes or collapses, right at this point, right? Where you start questioning the process. So you can learn to trust the process, or you can allow the reality of where you are to take you in a different direction, which I know you're not going to go there. You see, here's the deal. January creates urgency. You've got big goals, big declarations, big expectations. And what happens is we consciously create on unrealistic timeline. We want to see something happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks. But you see, your body doesn't operate on emergency. I should say emotional urgency. Right? Your body doesn't operate on emotional urgency. It operates on physiology. And that's the physiology I've been teaching you. Physiology adapts gradually. Right? If you've been listening to what I'm saying, last time we talked about all the things that the scale measures. About 10 things, only one of them is fat, which is only what matters. So today we want to talk about that lag time that no one really talks about and figure out, well, what actually happens? Here's the deal, right? Behavior changes first because it must. For you to create any change, you must change your behavior. So behavior changes first. Then your hormones begin to regulate. That's the next step that happens. Then inflammation shifts. Right? Remember, if your body's dealing with inflammation, it can't deal with anything else. Inflammation shifts. When that happens, your metabolism then adjusts. Then your body composition starts to change. And finally, the scale start to reflect some of those things. Or finally, you'll start experiencing some gut movement. Or finally, you'll stop experiencing as much urgency. For those of you dealing with prostate health, right? You see, there's a lag. There's always a lag. So let's repeat that. Behavior changes first, then your hormones begin to regulate, then inflammation shifts, then metabolism adjusts, then your body composition starts to change, and finally the scale may start to reflect that. That's the lag time. There's always a lag time. And most people misinterpret that lag as failure. But lag isn't failure. That lag time isn't failure. It's biological sequencing. It's your body doing what it does. And remember, your body will change on its own time frame, not on yours, because this is physiology at work. And when you can't see it, there are a lot of things happening under the surface when you're doing the right things. So even if the scale isn't dramatically different yet, your body is likely stabilizing your blood sugar, improving insulin sensitivity, lowering chronic inflammation, regulating hunger hormones, repairing metabolic damage, increasing lean muscle tissue, reducing stress signaling. You see all the things that need to happen before you will see a change on the scale. And you see, none of this is flashy. But all of this is necessary. None of this is flashy, but all of it is necessary. Your body doesn't burn fat aggressively in chaos. Your body doesn't like to burn fat at all. It likes to store fat. That's its natural state. It loves to have that emergency cushion. That's what fat is. Fat is gold to your body. So just remember the things you can't see. You can't see your body stabilizing your blood sugar. You can't see that improved insulin sensitivity taking place. You can't see your body lowering chronic inflammation, right? You can't see your hormones regulating. You can't see metabolic damage being repaired, right? Reducing stress signaling that leads to more inflammation. You can't see these things. But regulation has to take place before your body will move forward. These are all the things that must take place before your body moves forward. So that is why this phase is pretty slow. See, the first 4 to 6 weeks of real change of foundation work. And that foundation work, well, it could take 4 to 6 weeks. It takes much longer for a lot of you because a lot of you are going through some really big things. A lot of you have got pages of meds that you're on. A lot of you dealing with some big health issues that are kind of like pulling you back every step you take. And you're wondering why the scale isn't changing. Because all of those meds you're on are building up a large degree of inflammation in your body. You're doing other things, constricting your blood vessels where we need the opposite to happen for blood flow to take place. Right? So stabilization needs to happen. Stabilization, it needs to repair. All right? Consistent training, identity building. This is what needs to happen. Acceleration doesn't happen in 1 week. Acceleration doesn't happen in 1 month. Or 2 months. It happens after your system adapts. And most people quit during the foundation stage. The ones who stay steady hit the acceleration phase later. Guaranteed. I've been doing this for 30 years and I see it all the time. Most people quit during the foundation stage. They're just developing a foundation and they expect to be seeing results. Results don't happen during the foundation stage. If it does, it's your body being forgiving. Because you're not at the place yet, doing the things yet consistently enough where you can be expecting results. So just understand that that foundation phase will take as long as it takes. I can't tell you how long your foundation phase is going to take. Everybody is different. It may be 4 to 6 weeks for one person. It may be 2 months for another. It may be 3 months for another. It may be 6 months for another. I can't tell you how long that foundation phase is going to take. Your job is to keep moving forward. Your job is to build that foundation. Your job is to make your body feel safe by doing all the things we've been talking about. Creating stabilized blood sugar, greater insulin sensitivity, reducing the chaos from stress and the stress response. That is what makes your body feel safe. Only then will your body start to change and adapt. Only then will your body leave that foundation stage, because you've laid that foundation that your body feels supported and protected. Now it will change and adapt. All right? So you don't want to be comparing yourself to others. Right? Because this is a stage where comparison creeps in. You see someone dropping weight faster. You remember a past version of yourself losing faster. You see unrealistic timelines online, or you hear other people in the chat talking about what's happened for them so far. Well, if they lost 50, 100 pounds, why can't I? How come I've only lost 10? But what you don't see is their stress levels, their sleep, their hormonal health, their muscle mass, their dieting history, their metabolism. Progress speed is individualized, and all of these things matter. Consistency is universal. This is what matters. So here's the wrong response, because when people feel behind, they often start to cut calories. They think that's going to help. They start to add excessive cardio and start to overtrain. They go into panic. They lose sleep, and because of that, your stress levels go through the roof. And what happens when your stress levels go through the roof? That again puts your body back to that safety step. Foundational. You haven't met the foundations, and see, you keep moving backwards. And this slows your progress, because you can't rush adaptation by adding pressure. You reinforce adaptation by staying steady, by figuring out, what is my next step? How do I stay consistent? How do I lay the foundation for all the things we talked about? Stable blood sugar, greater insulin sensitivity, hormonal adaptation. All of these things must happen. They don't happen in a stressed out environment, right? You can't rush adaptation by adding pressure. You must reinforce it by staying steady, by keep moving forward with your consistency. So the right question to ask, right? Instead of asking, why am I not further? Ask yourself, am I more consistent than I was 6 months ago, 2 months, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, even 6 months ago? That question shifts power back to you, because consistency is controllable. Timeline is not, right? So you learn to lean on that identity phase. This is what carries you forward. Right now, you are not just changing your body, you're solidifying your identity, right? You're becoming someone who trains even when it's not exciting, who eats aligned even when stressed, who recovers instead of reacts, who stays calm through fluctuations. Identity shifts before results explode. You must become that person who can achieve and sustain the results. In order to achieve and sustain the results, well, you've got to become that person. Identity is built through repetition, repetition, repetition. Consistency of habits, behavior, mindset. That is what is going to build identity. So we talked about the long game, right? You got to focus on the long game, right? If you execute the basics for the next 6 months, protein at meals, strength training, daily movement, sleep, stress regulation, consistency of meals, who would you be? You would not recognize your body. You wouldn't recognize your confidence. You wouldn't recognize your energy. You're not behind. You're early. You're early. You're not behind. You're early. So focus on the long game. That is what's going to take you forward, because your body needs to create that foundation before you can move forward. The foundation phase, guys, it feels quiet. The adaptation phase feels slow. The acceleration phase is what feels rewarding, and you will get there. Most people quit before acceleration. Don't be most people. You don't need dramatic progress. You need sustained progress. You don't need to be further. You need to stay consistent. Because if you don't quit, if you reinforce the basics, if you stay emotionally regulated, your results are not optional. They're inevitable. Your results are inevitable. You stay in the game. Your future self is already grateful you did. So you stay in the game. You stay consistent. You reinforce the basics. You stay emotionally regulated. This is how you make your results inevitable. You will get there if you stay the course. You will get there if you trust the process. You will get there when you understand that there is a lot going on in your body. There is a lot going on before you will see the results that you're looking for. I'm Dr. Dell. I hope this has been helpful.